Hey, what's going on, everyone? This video, we're looking at the Thursday night football picks between the Patriots and the Rams. Already the third showdown of the week. A lot of football this week. It's been going well, so looking to keep it rolling tonight. As always, before we get started with the video, I appreciate if you guys hit the like button down below, subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to join the team, you can visit the website, dfsprocess.net, or you can follow me on Twitter at the DFSProcess to stay more up to date and if any news comes out or if any changes are needed. But let's get into it. So starting off here, we'll look at the snap counts because there are some things to talk about on the Rams especially. So last week against the Cardinals, the Rams did something that they haven't done all year, and that is get their two rookies more involved. Van Jefferson played 48% of the snaps last week. Leapfrog Josh Reynolds, who played similar amount, 46, but that is coming off of week 12, and just every single week before that, Van Jefferson just hasn't been getting involved. And it's not like anybody got hurt in that game. They just played him a lot more from the start. So coming off of week 12, he didn't play any offensive snaps. Week 11, he just played a handful. And he wasn't the only rookie that got more involved. They also got their running back, Cam Akers, who became the lead back last week. Wasn't particularly effective. He had like under 75 yards on 20 plus carries. But he got like 23 touches. He checks in as the most expensive running back of the three, so Draftkings kind of expects him to be the lead back once again, but he played 63%. Malcolm Brown just played 16%, and Henderson played 22%. And they got their tight ends like a huge amount of snaps as well. They ran a lot of two tight end snaps. With Everett played 72%. That is just a big uptick for him, I believe. Week 12, he played 47%. Week 11, he played 57. So Everett played a lot more last week as well, and I like Everett a lot tonight on DraftKings. He checks in at 3,400. Seems to be always a good showdown play just because he gives you some upside. He can catch like a touchdown pass with his big body. They like to use him in red zone situations. So I think Everett looks like a strong play. Van Jefferson looks like a strong play at 2,600. I will not be will not be interested in uh, Josh Reynolds, who is 5,600, just because I expect him to be, kind of trend for this fourth guy, and I'd rather take a shot on those two guys that are cheaper. And then I think you could play Akers if you want, but it's a game where I'm kind of focusing a little bit more on the passing attack for both sides, especially with the Patriots, uh, just because the Rams have such a good run defense, top 5 in football, top 3 in football in yards, in limiting yards per game on the ground, and Harris isn't going to catch passes. None of the Patriots running backs besides James White is going to play a factor in the passing game, most likely. So it's not like you're getting a lot of PPR upside with Harris. I might rather take a shot on Michelle, who's only $4,800. First game back, he played about 33%, but he's definitely the second guy because of Harris, who kind of just emerged this year. And recently, whenever Michelle was hurt, he just kind of took that number one back. So looking at just on the just touch on my favorite players from both teams on the Rams, it's going to be Jared Goff. I think he's a good play tonight. I like to pair him with Cooper Kupp. I expect Stephon Gilmore to be on Robert Woods, so I'd rather go with the slot guy. Kupp has been a target machine this year. Hasn't been a touchdown machine. Only two touchdown passes or two touchdown receptions, but 9 targets, 5 targets, 13, 7, 26, 9, 8, 7. You know what you're going to get out of him. A really high, a heavily targeted player, a guy that can make a big play, and I think he looks like a strong play tonight. So definitely look at Cooper Kupp. And then you have Henderson and Akers. If you want to play one of them, I'd rather go Akers, just because I expect him to get a lot more touches than Henderson. Not interested in Reynolds. I think Higbee could play him, but I'd rather go with Everett, especially if he comes in at lower ownership. He played a similar amount of snaps last week to Higbee, and they've been using Everett a lot more in running routes. So I like Everett tonight at 3,400. You could play Van Jefferson if you need to, but it's also a showdown where there's not a ton of expensive players, so it's a good opportunity to leave some money on the table just to be different. That way, instead of playing Higbee, play Everett. Instead of playing Reynolds, play Van Jefferson. Just some strategy tonight. And then at captain, I'm looking at a couple of guys, but Jared Goff is definitely one of the captain plays tonight at 16.5. On the Patriots side, Damiere Byrd is the value play at $800. He's been playing second most snaps at wide receiver, and that is pretty closely behind Jacoby Myers. He's been playing 75, 80% of snaps Bird has at wide receiver. He's only $800, which doesn't make a lot of sense. You have N'Keal Harry, the third wide receiver in terms of snap counts, playing about 50, 60 snaps. 50, 60% of the offensive snaps per game, can get up to 70 if they have to throw the ball a lot and they're in the trailing. So I think Harry looks like a decent play, especially if everybody just plays Damiere Byrd. Could be a nice leverage play at a similar price point. And then Jacoby Myers is still that number one guy. He's been that all season, ever since Julian Edelman was placed on IR. He's emerged, and ever since he's been playing a lot of snaps, which started like week 7, he's just taken off. They don't throw the football a lot, and that is kind of evident with Cam Newton having 2 straight games of under 100 yards. Not even under 100, under 85 yards in 2 straight games. He's thrown for under 120 in 3 of 4. So you don't throw the football a lot, but they might be forced to in this matchup with just how good the Rams are. They can't get anything going on the ground. They're probably going to have to force Cam Newton to throw the football, and pairing him with Jacoby Myers looks to be a pretty strong play. And then this is where you can kind of just save some money and just try to hope that you're a lot more unique, and that is just to play like Harry at $1,800 and save $1,300, or play Damiere Byrd, get Cam Newton with his 2 top weapons in terms of guys that are going to be out on the field the most, and Byrd and Myers, and save $2,300, get a nice balance from both sides. Or if you want to go with a Rams kind of onslaught, you can play Van Jefferson and hope that, I don't expect Van Jefferson to get a ton of ownership, but I definitely think he's a strong play with his outlook trending upwards heading into this week. So a couple of ways to go, but I think these like 5 guys I have a lot of interest in tonight. You can shake things up a little bit and then play maybe Cam Newton at captain, or you can play Kupp at captain with both quarterbacks still, and then still try to get to Myers. And then you can look at maybe one of the kickers if you want to, with who knows who they're going to use that kicker, whether it be Gay. If he ends up playing, you can play him if you want to play a kicker. But if not, then you can looks like the other kicker that they have is pretty affordable as well. He is, I don't even know if he's on the slate. The other kicker, Forbat, is already out for this game. I think he's on Fanduel. Might not be on Draftkings. It might add him if Gay isn't able to play. But I think that with that $3,600 you have left, you can look at like N'Keal Harry. I don't think Sony Michel will be popular. You can play him if you want to, but I'm not that interested in him. Or you can play Nick Folk, another kicker on the Patriots, but probably look at like Gerald Everett, and then maybe look at Gay if he plays at 3,800, or you can just play one of the Patriots receivers. So kind of have a nice core of who I'm looking at targeting tonight on Showdown. That's going to be Goff, Cam Newton, Cooper Kupp, definitely my favorite receiver on the slate. And then I definitely think that you can pair Cam Newton with a weapon, and that will probably be Jacoby Myers tonight just because he's going to be out there 90+% of the snaps. And he's pretty affordable at 6,800. So that's kind of the breakdown for DraftKings. Let's jump over to Fanduel and see how their pricing looks for tonight. Alrighty, over on Fanduel at MVP, Cam Newton is the most expensive guy on the slate, and then you have Jared Goff. I like both quarterbacks tonight. It's always tough not to have Cam Newton on Showdown with, he can break a slate with his legs. So I like him. I like Goff just because I think he's going to have to throw the football a lot. And although I'm not expecting a shootout, I think both quarterbacks will be able to hit value tonight. In terms of receivers, Kupp is my favorite, and then I will probably not have that much interest in Robert Woods just because I like Kupp a lot more, and I think Woods will probably be defended by Gilmore. So there's that. Akers looks okay. 12.5 is definitely expensive, but not a ton of options tonight, so he's going to be in the mix. I like him more than Harris, just with how good the Rams are against the ground, and Harris doesn't play a factor in the passing game, so you're going to need him to probably get a couple of like short yardage touchdowns. I don't see him breaking off a lot of big plays tonight. And then on FanDuel, the big difference is Damiere Byrd, who's $800 on DraftKings, is $10K on FanDuel, and then Myers is $10.5. So with them being super closely priced, I still like Myers a lot more than Byrd, but On DraftKings, it's a lot different with the pricing, but I like Myers a lot more on Fanduel. Reynolds is 9,500. Not that interested in him. Um, I would rather go cheaper with N'Keal Harry or look at some of the Rams guys that I expect to play more in Everett and Van Jefferson. Both of those guys are super cheap. And if you want to play some kickers, you can. I don't know if both kickers have like questionable tags, so I mean, I still expect Folk to play, but I don't know about Matt Gay. And then the other kicker is $800 if you wanted to play him if Gay isn't able to play. But you have some receivers that are in that same range, so I'd rather go to them over the kickers. On FanDuel, I capped or MVP. It's Jared Goff or Cam Newton or Robert Woods. Those are the three that I'm looking at. But those other two I'm definitely going to have in the flex. So these three are the core pieces on FanDuel. It leaves you with 77.50. And that's plenty with some of the guys in this range. You can even still play Jacoby Myers at 10.5, and then you can look to never mind. You cannot play Jacoby Myers at 10.5, but you could play N'Keal Harry at 8K, and then you could play Everett at 75. That might be a similar lineup to many, so you can maybe go with like Van Jefferson instead, and maybe instead of going with you could go with like James White if they have to throw the football a lot more tonight and hope that he gets a lot more involved. He's always seems to always be like always a tournament play just because he doesn't get a lot of carries. So those are just some ways that you can play. But in the guys below 10K, I would be interested in James White, N'Keal Harry, Everett, and Van Jefferson are the four that I'm most interested in. So that's it for the video. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. Hopefully, you guys got some good information from the video. And good luck tonight, and we'll see you all next time.